Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gravity City, USA, Lawrence, Massachusetts. Yes, indeed, it's time for yet another edition of the Gravity Effect Race. And for the first time on this network, the ladies will be front and center in this grueling athletic display. All right, let's meet our competitors. A sister act here today, Steph and Cyn Sabando. You can see the tail of the tape. The one thing that jumps out at me is the 25-pound weight advantage for Steph, and that means she'll have an extra 5 pounds attached to that weight vest. Let's check out all 6 obstacles that will be utilized in today's competition. By the end of these obstacles, there will only be one winner, one queen of gravity in Lawrence today. The first of our 6 obstacles will be the familiar 150-yard farmer's carry, followed by the familiar 110-pound sled pull. That's not a croquet setup, that's the up and unders, our third obstacle. After that, it's obstacle number 4, the weighted lunge walk. Check this out, it's a new event, the triple flag retriever. And finally, obstacle number 6, the torturous weighted burpees. All right,
3,
let's go down to the starting
2,
line. It's time to
1,
get going.
Go!
And we're off with the farmer's carry. This'll warm me up in a hurry. On the left, Cyn Sabando, who lives in Brooklyn, New York. On the right, native and resident of Lawrence, Steph Sabando. The rules require these competitors to stay on their side of the white line. As you can see for yourself, at the beginning, these competitors trying to establish their own rhythm. You try not to worry about your competitor. You're focused on yourself. In the background, you can see the famous landmark, Lake Gravity, or as the early Native Americans who lived in this area called it, well, they called it the same thing, Lake Gravity. How about that? Interesting side note, today would have been the birthday of the inventor of gravity, Isaac Newton. Ike would have been 376 years old today. Probably a good thing he's gone. I'd like to remember him as a much younger man. As you can see, Steph has established a short lead, and Cyn needs to watch out for this fire hydrant. There you go. That's a facility flaw. They need to get rid of that. As you can see, as we approach the end of the farmer's carry, both of our athletes feeling a sense of urgency and have picked up their pace accordingly. As a matter of fact, Steph now back in the lead in this event. This is where your shoulders start throbbing and your hands get a little sweaty, and that can affect your grip on the kettlebells. And even as I say that, you can see that Steph is having some grip issues now, and she's slowed her pace considerably. It does seem like she's lost a bit of rhythm here at this particular juncture. It's very important for Steph to reestablish the rhythm she had as soon as possible. Again, Steph is clearly dealing with grip issues. She's constantly readjusting those weights, and now she has to stop altogether, wipe her hands off, and she'll try it again now. In the meantime, Cyn has increased her lead in this first event considerably. Hey, watch out! Did you see that? There's a spectator on the course, ran directly in front of Steph. How did that guy get by security? Hey, I can guarantee you that in less than 1 minute, that fool will be apprehended, tasered, and stuffed in the back of a Lawrence paddy wagon. All right, back to the race. I don't think Cyn Sabando had any idea what was happening behind her. In fact, she's added to that lead and is coming to the very end of our very first obstacle with a healthy advantage now over Steph Sabando. As Steph wraps up her first event, Cyn will move on to the second obstacle in today's competition, the sled pull. She's being hooked up to the sled by her esteemed Swedish official, Lars Persson, the former Swedish Gravity Effects Race champion. Cyn is off, and it's Steph's turn to be connected to the sled. Oh, I like Cyn's form, low to the ground, driving those legs through each step like pistons. Her technique is flawless, and she appears to be very relaxed at this point in this race. Steph has cut into that lead, and she's doing a great job pulling that sled as well. Keep in mind, these competitors are already weighted down. Cyn with 30 pounds on her vest, 35 for Steph. And then you can throw in 110 pounds of sled weight on top of that. To call that grueling would be an understatement.
Keep going, Steph, keep going.
It's a dead heat after 2 obstacles, and after each athlete is able to untether themselves from their sled, they'll move on to our third obstacle, the up and unders. I've mentioned in previous competitions that most athletes consider this to be the easiest of all of the obstacles. It's an opportunity to refocus and look ahead to our final 3 obstacles in this competition. In a very short period of time, Cyn has really increased her lead during this event. Look at that. She's done. She looks back and sees Steph well behind her now. And without any hesitation, she moves on to the 4th obstacle, that being the weighted lunge walk. This event will make your thighs curse at you. I mean, they'll swear a blue streak. Even if you've never uttered a curse word in your entire life, after a few of these lunges, your legs will be throwing 4-letter words out there like a rap star. This one hurts. Not to be redundant, but look at Cyn's rhythm in this. One at a time, just like you're supposed to do it. Steph is falling a little behind again as this event goes on, and Cyn can afford to stop for a second and take a breather. As Cyn gets closer to the end of her lunge walk, let's take a second and check in on Steph. You can tell that this event is taking its toll on her a bit right now, as it does with almost every gravity effect race competitor. In fact, this is the most common event for competitors to drop out of the race. Nearly 18% of gravity effect racers actually throw in the towel during this obstacle. This is where all of the months of weight training and running come into play. Hey, before this competition today, I actually tried this obstacle out for myself. Granted, Stan the Man has seen better days, but after a few lunges, my legs were tighter than a Civil War drum. I can tell you this, after this broadcast is over, I'll be flying back to my home state of Montana. And right when I get home, I'll be jumping in the hot tub with Mrs. Stan the Man and soaking these chicken legs. And with that, Cyn has wrapped up the 4th obstacle. She's done with the weighted lunge walk. And as we move on to our 5th and final event, you can tell that she's extended that lead a little bit. This next event is a brand new obstacle in the gravity effect race. Would you look at that contraption? This will certainly test the stamina and coordination of both our athletes. It's called the Triple Flag Retriever. It looks like a combination between a teepee and a spider's web. There are flags of 2 colors at the top of this bizarre apparatus. Each athlete will have to retrieve the flags of their color one at a time and take them to a staging area. One misstep and you could fall into that web and be trapped like a fly. Who could forget last year's World Championships? Matt Kelso of Canada slipped and spent nearly 8 minutes trapped in the ropes. Cyn has collected her first flag at the exact same moment that Steph is approaching hers. With only one event to go after this one, Steph needs to pick up the pace if she wants to catch Cyn in this gravity effect race. This race is about 8.5 minutes old. Both of these athletes are battling exhaustion, and it's sheer instinct that's pulling them through at this point. At this moment, it's exactly a 1-flag lead for Cyn. Again, she's not in a hurry. She appears very loose and relaxed, knowing she has an advantage right now. I'd like to take a moment and really acknowledge the event staff at this gravity effect race in Lawrence. They spent a lot of time really beautifying this great facility. In fact, they worked through the night painting these park benches that gorgeous shade of turquoise. Coincidentally, my shower curtain at home is the exact same color. In fact, I'm thinking about having my whole house painted in that exact great color next summer. Our competitors are continuing to retrieve their respective flags. I can guarantee you that they're thinking about the daunting final obstacle that's coming up next, the weighted burpees, also known as the Widowmaker. But in the meantime, there are still flags waiting to be grabbed. It's autumn here in Massachusetts, and you can see some of the beautiful fall colors on the trees behind us. Even the graffiti around Lawrence seems to be particularly vibrant this time of year. This race is still relatively close, and Cyn needs to be very careful right now. One misstep and Steph will be right back in this competition. I think both athletes have done a great job here this afternoon. They both had game plans, and each of them has stuck to it at this point. With that final flag in her hand, Cyn is the first to complete this obstacle. And all that remains between Cyn and a gold medal is this final event, the weighted burpees. Traditional burpees, well, they're tough enough. But remember, these athletes have weighted vests. And for Cyn, that means 30 extra pounds on top of your fatigue. What a sadistic way to end what's already been a very challenging competition. Now here's something that really bothers me. Look at that kid in the background on that piece of playground equipment. When I was a kid, we called that the springy horse. That kid is too old for that. When I was a lad, there was an unwritten rule on the playground that once you turned 7 or 8, you were officially too old for the springy horse. I saw that youngster smoking just a few minutes ago. If you're old enough to light up, then you're too old for the springy horse. Get off that, kid. Barring anything dramatic unforeseen, this competition is Cyn's to win now. She is well into her burpees and Steph just now beginning hers. Steph wisely is slowing down right now, being very deliberate in each motion of the individual burpees. A lot of the obstacles we've seen this afternoon challenge 1 or 2 body parts. With burpees, it's a full body workout. Before this event wraps up, I do want to take a moment to thank the crew at Salvatore's restaurant here in Lawrence, right on the banks of the Merrimack River. I had the veal piccata and it was to die for, I kid you not. Hey, would you look at this? We were just talking about barring unforeseen events, this was Cyn's race to win. But she's having some serious problems with that weighted vest. I mean, you just saw her. She needed assistance. That was a job well done by her trainer, Larry Cavaceres, getting things worked out. That could have spelled disaster for our competitor from Brooklyn, New York. Let me tell you what, both of these ladies are running on fumes right now. In fact, there's Steph stepping away for a moment, getting her breath back to finish this grueling finale. And Cyn, well, she's pushed herself pretty much to her limits today as well, as she is visibly struggling through the last few of her remaining burpees. Immediately following the completion of this event, our sideline correspondent Edgar Sabando will be visiting with both of our competitors. Cyn Sabando, Steph Sabando, Edgar Sabando, Timmy Sabando. Yes, you guessed correctly. Everyone in Lawrence has the last name of Sabando. They have a funny-looking phone book, I can tell you that. You might not know this, but the city of Lawrence actually hosted a gravity effect race parade yesterday. And I'd like to thank the mayor of Lawrence, Don Rivera, for making me guest of honor and giving me the key to the city. I have no idea how I'm supposed to get that big key back to Montana. It's too big to be carry-on, and my suitcase is already packed. And this will be it. This is the final burpee for Cyn, who is officially now the champion of the gravity effect race. What a performance. What a champion. And give Steph her credit as well. She made this a very competitive race today. This has certainly been a tremendous afternoon of stellar athletic competition. There is your champion, the hometown proud Cyn Sabando. She did a great job today. And would you check that out? She still has time to pose for her adoring crowd. And would you check out those moves? In the meantime, our runner-up, Steph Sabando, who's getting a sudden burst of adrenaline to finish her final obstacle. For all you kids watching at home right now, I hope you're listening. That's how you finish a race right there. And so, there you have it. 1 race, 6 obstacles, 2 tremendous athletes. The sisters Sabando celebrating a great competition. This is Stan the Man Jackson, thanking you for joining us and saying so long. Here's Edgar Sabando with our competitors.
So we're here with the winner of the gravity effect race, women's competition right here. We got Cynthia Sabando right here, just finished first place. And I'm gonna ask her a few questions. Cynthia, how do you feel?
I feel great, exhausting. But it's a fucking thrill.
No squares.
Sorry, effing thrill.
Well, my next question would be, what do you think about the race? Was it hard? Was it easy?
It was actually really good. Good pacing, heavy, weighted vests, kettlebells. Just gotta keep moving. It was actually really good. I like it.
So, how do you feel about your competitor right here? She was behind you the whole time. Did you ever think she was gonna pass you?
Yes, in the beginning, running first, I thought she was gonna beat me straight to it, but in the end, got the rails and I won. Yeah.
You got any words for Stephanie right now?
You big baby loser cry.
Well, there you have it, guys. I'm gonna catch up with Stephanie right now to see how she's doing. So now I'm here with Stephanie Sabando right here. She finished second place, but she finished strong. I'm gonna ask her a few questions. Stephanie, how do you feel about the race?
I felt like shit afterwards. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to swear. I felt like crap a little bit, but it was an awesome race. Amazing. And I would love to do it again.
You came in second place now, but you were trailing really, really close behind Cynthia. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts? You know, train a little harder. But it was awesome being next to my sister. You know, no matter what, it's all about fam. It's all about how we finish. And at the end of the day, we're still family.
What was the hardest obstacle for you?
The hardest? I want to say it was the burpees.
Yeah.
But then with the kettlebells, you know, my hands got a little sweaty, so.
Yeah.
But no, it was probably the burpees.
Well, there you have it, guys. Stephanie finished strong here. Everybody give her a round of applause to Stephanie right here. Finished strong.
Eating my oranges.
And we'll catch you next time for the next Gravity Fake race. Till then, see you then.
Laser.